Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you here to the 18th race of the 4th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series, and we kick things off with qualifying here today at the Chicago Motor Speedway. Not the Chicagoland Speedway, but Chicago Motor Speedway, here based in the Chicago suburbs of Illinois. But it is a mile track rather than a mile-and-a-half track, and banking is pretty much unknown here at this track. Only 2 degrees of banking on the straightaways, 6 degrees maximum of banking in the corners. It's going to be a lot of slipping and sliding around, and we're going to get to see what type of racing we can expect later on today with our qualifying race. 26 drivers vying for 6 spots, the final 6 spots in the main event later on today, and Seth Cole is going to line up on the point alongside of Michael Roode. Dawson Wise and Tristan Allen will make up row number 2. One thing we haven't put a whole lot of stress on here this season, which we really should, especially since we're talking about the qualifying race here, 24 rookies have been in the running here this season, 23 of them still in their rides. Mike Wiley, of course, was a rookie, but only made 1 main event start. So 23 drivers are vying for Rookie of the Year honors, and really the points battle, it's been close, and we haven't put as much focus on it as we really should. S Ozkan right now leads the rookie point standings by 8 points over Adam Sampsell. Sampsell then has 3 points over a tie for 3rd place between Michael Wayne Robinson and today's outside pole sitter Michael Roode. So we've got about 11 points separating the top 4 in the point standings for that rookie points battle, and there's still a long ways to go in the season. So we'll try and actually keep an eye on that, especially during the non-charter qualifying sessions here a little more often than we have been here in the first half of the regular season, and here heading into the second half of the regular season as well, heading towards the playoffs. Let's go down trackside though. Let's not waste any time. Let's get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Check down in the description below for your official starting lineup for today's non-charter event. Again, if you're keeping tabs on the former champion Chris Dollerton, 7 starts he has made so far this season. Has to make 10 for his win at Manassas to count towards a playoff position. However, he more than likely will make an 8th start at least this year, and we're going to wait on that announcement, but I'm going to tell you it has something to do with the Chili Bowl coming up in a few weeks. Going to be a special event going on there. The Chili Bowl actually counted for 2 races last season, races 19 and 20. We're going to be going to a different venue next week, and then the following week we're going to have that special Chili Bowl event, which will only be counting as race 20, but there's a lot on the line and a lot of extra perks for some drivers, so we'll get there when we get there, but we got to finish out this weekend here at Chicago Motor Speedway. Now, we were at Chicago Motor Speedway 2 variations. Season 1 and 2, we ran the mile super speedway type short track, where Jose Mills and Matt Haas went to victory lane in seasons 1 and 2, but then we debuted this version of Chicago Motor Speedway last season, in which Dylan Young picked up what was then his 3rd win of the season. Green flag set to fly. We're underway here at the Chicago Motor Speedway. Let's roll for 38 laps. Fanning out 3 wide there in the middle of the top 10. Tyler Gehrdes was stuck in the middle. Sampsell way up the track. Drivers will be vying for the inside line all the way in this race. Outside line, there is a little bit of grip, but not much, as we are going to go almost 4 wide there. S Ozkan stuck his nose to the inside of N Amoedo. They made it work, settle it out, as behind them, Dylan Poteet, J Schwallenberg, Adam Sampsell. Look at them fan out here into turns 1 and 2. Trying to figure out who's going to have the advantage off the second corner and down the straightaway. Still 4 wide for a brief moment there. That was RJ Bishop, J Taurus, Adam Sampsell, and Pedro Lucas that were in that one. Schwallenberg bouncing off of Rob Evans. They keep it together, at least for the moment. Some great racing all the way through the field. Up front, though, Seth Cole has pulled away. Dawson Wise now moves to 2nd. Z Stultz currently holds down the 3rd position. Battle for the transfer spot. Right now, it's actually held by S Ozkan. Looks behind him and sees Dylan Poteet and Michael Roode working against each other. That DeWalt Toyota Camry start outside of the front row. He's trying to find his way back down to the inside line, as he's lost a lot of spots since we went green to start this thing. Poteet's cleared him. Now J Dearborn looking for a position. And they're still 3 wide behind him. Teammates there, Michael Wayne Robinson and Daniel Voyles getting put 3 wide. N Amoedo making the charge there. His teammate Pedro Lucas right behind him. No Limits Racing, nose to tail. Working against the KB Racing Enterprises Ford. Dodges may be battling here for the 4th position. J Osborne looks in his rearview mirror and sees T Gehrdes. Trying to remember the most Dodges that we ever had transfer in a non-charter event. I think maybe 2 is the number. Right now we got 3 of them up here inside of the top 6. Stultz right now in 2nd after getting around Dawson Wise a lap ago. J Osborne and T Gehrdes in 4th and 5th. Z Stultz, that Z's Custom Diecast Dodge Challenger, looking really fast. He was able to make the pass for 2nd place and just cut into Seth Cole's lead on that lap. So that 25 car, while he may be out in front for the moment, he might want to be looking in his rearview mirror and keeping track of the fact that that 44 is reeling him in as S Ozkan went way wide through 1 and 2. That's going to lose him that 6th position. The final transfer spot, Dylan Poteet's going to move into that position now. J Dearborn is now going to try and take 7th place. Then he'll set his sights on the LS Tractor Chevrolet. That battle for 4th place will not go away. These are not teammates, but they do have an alliance, both running Dodges. J Osborne out of Evans Gardner Motorsports. And T Gehrdes out of Bulldog Motorsports. Evans Gardner does not have a charter win this season. They do have a non-charter win if you want to count Rob Evans' victory back in the non-charter race at the Indianapolis Road Course. Bulldog Motorsports, of course, has a win this season with Ryan Brommer in a chartered event. Zach Rogers still trying to find victory lane. Gap is kind of staggered out. It's kind of stagnated out right now between Seth Cole and Zach Stultz. It's remained about 0.6 of a second the last 3-4 laps. That time Stultz was a little bit quicker, reeled it in. Gained about a 1/10 that time. Don't know how much the draft comes into play here. There's somewhat long straightaways, as you can see here. Not super long, but I'd say maybe about as long as a New Hampshire Motor Speedway type or so. I would think there'd be enough time to be able to have the draft come into play on these straightaways. We'll see if Stultz has closed up the gap this time. Looks like, at least visually, he has. And at the line, it does say he closed it up 6/100ths that time. So little by little, he's inching in that Liberty University Chevrolet. And there's still a long ways to go in this race, too. A lock and change, and more than likely, we would end up possibly seeing pit stops come into play in this one. Who knows? We did have an exchange for the final transfer spot. J Dearborn and that Mills Motorsports Ford Mustang got around Dylan Poteet. So now move him into the 6th position. And I noticed a driver that's starting to slowly work his way up there is Chris Dollerton in the 83. Been hearing that there is a possibility that Chris Dollerton out of Michael Norman Motorsports may be getting some new sponsorship here in the next week or 2. Later on today here in the charter event, some news out of JM01 Motorsports that Jack Mitchell will actually be piloting a new livery with a new sponsorship. As Brad Stover, Snickers Toyota Camry, just got around Michael Roode. That, I believe, was for the 11th position, so he is slowly and steadily working his way up to the front. As against M Ozkan, boy, he's having a lot of difficulty keeping his car down the bottom. You want to carry so much speed there into the corner, and then you miss your mark, miss your braking zone. Next thing you know, you go up into that 3rd groove, and there's just no grip up there. I mean, as we mentioned, there's only 6 degrees of banking in the corners for these drivers, so there's no banking to be able to hook that right rear tire into to be able to allow it to rotate to turn left. More than likely, you carry way too much speed, you're going to go straight. And that translates into losing positions. Boy, J Dearborn must have a very good long-run car. Not only got around Dylan Poteet for 6th, he now is on T Gehrdes for the 5th position. As Tyler lost touch with J Osborne, and what was that battle for 4th position going on between those two for quite a number of laps. Now it's the different shade of purple and white cars battling against each other here for a spot inside of the top 5, and looks like Tyler may have to give up the position. He ran a little wide there, saw him get on the brakes, but it looked like it was a little too late. Rode wide in turn 1, and Dearborn will take the spot. Battle here for 7th. Dylan Poteet and N Amoedo. Ooh, Natan thinking about using the bumper there on Dylan Poteet. Not sure if he did or not, but he certainly intimidated Poteet enough that Poteet wasn't looking out the windshield at his braking zone. Rode a little high up there in 3 and 4, opened the door, and now N Amoedo going to try and take advantage here going into 1 and 2. Will complete the pass, and now gets to the inside off the corner. Well, tried to, got a little tight there, had to lift, tried to get T Gehrdes for what is now the final transfer position. So everybody's going after that Bang Energy number 69 Dodge Challenger. Stultz continues to chip away little by little at Seth Cole's lead. That time he actually lost a bit of ground. It's still maintained about half a second. So he hasn't lost touch with Seth Cole. And I think right now for Z Stultz, he's just trying to make sure he makes it into the main event. As now a couple of Camrys going to battle here. This is for 9th place. Brad Stover tried to get to the inside of J Osborne. Couldn't do it. Tries to close the gap back up here through 3 and 4. Z Stultz has made 5 starts this season. Seth Cole, the driver's trying to run down, has made 6. As a matter of fact, Seth Cole is one of 4 drivers this season that are non-chartered drivers that has made 6 or more starts. Seth Cole has made 6. A Sampsell has made 6. And then J Osborne and Chris Dollerton have each made 7. Remember, Chris Dollerton's 5 of his 7 starts, though, were due to championship provisionals at the beginning of the season. So in all technicality, Chris Dollerton has only raced his way into 2 events this season. J Osborne's raced his way into 7. I mean, if Seth Cole is able to transfer here today, this would be his 7th start of the season. If J Osborne can make his way in, it would be his 8th start of the season. I mean, these are drivers that are looking like if they could pull off what Chris Dollerton did back at Manassas and pull off a charter win, they'd have enough starts more than likely in the regular season for it to count towards a playoff spot. Remember, it doesn't matter how far down you are in the point stands if you're a non-charter driver. If you have a win and you have made a minimum of 10 starts in a charter event, you automatically get a playoff position. Which is why we put a lot of stress on the situation of Chris Dollerton. 3 more starts, and he would more than likely replace a chartered driver that has a win this season. Speaking of Dollerton, he's about to crack the top 9. Nope, make that top 10. He's getting around Brad Stover for that 10th position, so slowly starting to catch up here. Getting closer and closer to a transfer spot, which right now is being held by T Gehrdes, but the Pennzoil Mustang of N Amoedo right behind him. The only thing I'm wondering here about Natan and a lot of these drivers, like J Osborne as well, I've seen them go really wide up there into turn 1 on entry. That's gotta be wearing down that right front. Gotta be building up that tire heat. And the longer this run goes, I gotta wonder how that's handling-wise going to be affecting them, as battle now going to be inside of the top 5 for the 4th position. Well, it was. Justin Dearborn was alongside of Joshua Osborne there in the center of 1 and 2. Lost ground off of the 2nd corner, though. And now looks like Osborne, for the moment, is going to hold on to that 4th position. We'll drop back here again to this battle for 6th. Throw a blanket over about 6 drivers. T Gehrdes, N Amoedo, Dylan Poteet, J Osborne, Chris Dollerton, and Brad Stover, all there in the vicinity should something go wrong. And again, there's still the possibility we could see some pit stops here. Not sure which it would be for, though. Would it be for fuel or would it be for tires? Because when you've got only 6 degrees of banking to work with in these corners, those right side tires, especially that right front, is going to get worn to a frazzle. It's like racing at New Hampshire for these drivers, basically. Well, Natan was trying to put the pressure on T Gehrdes for the 6th position, but now Dylan Poteet's on his back bumper. So this could be a battle to see who's going to try and snipe that final transfer spot away from Tyler Gehrdes. And Dearborn finally does get back to the inside of Joshua Osborne for 4th place. He's got the advantage down the straightaway. I think he'll make the pass here in 1 and 2. I don't think there's anything that Osborne can do. A little surprised that Joshua Osborne drove it that deep into the corner trying to defend the position. I would have backed off, let the 0-7 by, and tucked in line, because last thing you want to do is run way wide in 1 and 2 and allow that group behind you to catch you and possibly knock you outside of the top 6. Dawson Wise has been very quiet in that 3rd position, looking good to transfer his way into what would be his 6th start of the season. Driver out of Michael Norman Motorsports, his teammate Chris Dollerton still back there, currently in the 10th spot. And now we're starting to see Zach Stultz putting the pressure on Seth Cole. Seth Cole's been able to enjoy the clean air here for these 25 laps after starting on the pole. But Stultz is visibly starting to close up the gap. Ran a little wider there on entry. Might have been to try and cut the car down sooner through the center of 1 and 2. I'm not sure that gained him any ground, though. Looks like he may have lost a little bit, especially off the 2nd corner. That time, Seth Cole ran a little bit higher than Stultz did, and you're seeing the end results. Seth Cole able to exit a little bit lower off of 4. Stultz pushed up, actually almost went up and brushed the wall, it looked like, for a brief moment. Things have kind of settled out single file back here. So it's one of 2 things have happened. Either 1, these drivers have worn their tires out so much that they're not really being able to make moves, or 2, they're currently in tire conservation mode, so that way they can make their moves when it matters the most in the closing stages of this race. Chris Dollerton just made another pass, moving from the 10th position now up to 9th. As J Osborne actually went way wide again over in turns 1 and 2. Now he's under fire for 10th place from Brad Stover. And Dollerton taking a peek there on Dylan Poteet. Well, almost to the left rear quarter panel, not quite. But still right on the back bumper. A couple of spots away from a transfer position, which now may be our best battle. N Amoedo, ooh, look at that, moving the 69 up the racetrack. If they ain't going to move them out of the way yourself. And Natan is going to cross the line at least in the 6th position, moving to a transfer spot. Chris Dollerton just got around Dylan Poteet as well. So move the 83 up to 8th place. Ooh, wow, he really rode that corner a little too wide as he tried to get to the inside of Tyler Gehrdes before the hole closed up. But he's still there on the back bumper. Trying to move into what would be the 7th spot. Dylan Poteet thought about taking it 3 wide, and now Dollerton gets down to the inside line. Seth Cole hitting the line here. It will be 8 laps to go when he comes around and hits the stripe next time by, and I'm not certain are pit stops going to play a factor or not. Had a battle there for 3rd. Well, I'm not sure if that was a battle or if Justin Dearborn just ran way too wide in his attempt to get up there to Dawson Wise. Dearborn is looking to make his 5th start of the season. He did start last week's race at Kansas. And I think right now, Zach Stultz is just kind of settled in. I don't think he's going to force the issue. I think he's going to be more than pleased to finish 2nd and transfer his way in. And Dollerton, I believe, just moved into a transfer spot. He did. Tyler Gehrdes had an issue. Might have overdriven 1 and 2. He just dropped out of that 6th position. No, my apologies. He wasn't in a transfer spot. N Amoedo is the transfer spot driver. Tyler Gehrdes dropped from 7th place. Now back into a battle for 8th with Dylan Poteet. And Dollerton is hounding the back bumper of N Amoedo. Look at this. Oh, look at him jerk the wheel to the left to try to get to the inside of Natan down the back straightaway. Not quite able to do it. If Dollerton can make this race here today, I think he'd only have to really make 1 more start this season, qualify his way in to 1 more race to be eligible for a playoff spot. Because as I said, everybody's going to make the main event for the Chili Bowl in 2 weeks' time. As now Justin Dearborn has caught Dawson Wise, and Dollerton has moved into 6th place, getting around Natan. This battle here between these two rookies is to see who's going to start 39th in today's main event race. Dearborn edges ahead of Dawson Wise. Looks like he is going to take the spot here. Dawson's going to try and battle back. Can't do it there through 1 and 2. There's just no grip up there. There's no opportunity. It's the longer way around the racetrack. You can't get back to the throttle sooner. No banking to be able to lean on in that top groove, and so Dawson Wise wisely, no pun intended, tucks into the 4th spot. And Dollerton's not done. Look at this, 83. Remember, Dollerton had a great long car back at Manassas as well, which ended up obviously giving him the victory in the 2nd race of the season. Well, I would watch out if he does indeed close the deal and transfer in today's race, because he could very well work his way from the back to the front again. He's now going to go to the inside of Joshua Osborne. And why this is important is Osborne's going to have to, when he loses this spot, he's going to have to get in line quickly, because now Osborne has been dropped back to that final transfer position. And N Amoedo and D Poteet trying to close in. Two laps to go. When they come around this time, Seth Cole out in front, has led every lap so far, and looks like he's going to lead the last 2 unless he runs out of fuel or the engine expires. Stranger things have happened here in the Duracell Cup Series. Dearborn driving it deep into the corner there, trying to hold on to 3rd place. We're going to follow on this final lap and a half, this battle potentially for the final transfer position, as it looks like Seth Cole, Z Stultz, Justin Dearborn, Dawson Wise, and Chris Dollerton, like they're all going to be making their way into the main event. But can Osborne hold them off? Joshua Osborne looking to make his 4th start in the season. N Amoedo looking to make his 5th. It's going to come down between these two, it looks like, for the final spot in the Air Jordan 400 later on today here at Chicago Motor Speedway. Gap about a car length and a half off of turn 2. I don't think Natan's got a shot unless he dive bombs this corner. Even then, I'm not sure he's close enough to make a charge. As Seth Cole off turn 4, he's going to win at Chicago Motor Speedway. He'll transfer into the main event. Z Stultz will do the same, followed by Justin Dearborn, Dawson Wise, Chris Dollerton, and Osborne will hold on to the final transfer spot. It'll be 1 Chevrolet, 2 Dodges, and 3 Fords that will make up 37th through 42nd in the starting lineup later on today for the 63-lap main event. And for Chris Dollerton, the weight off the shoulders starting to get lighter. He will be making his 8th start of the season later on today. And again, I think keep an eye out for him. He was the one that was cutting his way through traffic the longer the run went on. If they keep that setup in that car, and he's able to do the same thing in the main event, we could be looking at a non-charter driver being a 2-time winner this season. Who knows? Very encouraged with what we saw there on that whole long green flag run. Comers and goers through the field. Drivers that were able to make forward progress, and unfortunately for others, those that were not able to. And this should make things very interesting when we get to the main event later on today. Something tells me pit road is going to play a huge factor in the outcome of that race. If you remember last season, it did as well. Dylan Young rolled the strategy last season of staying out the longest on a green flag pit stop, and that's what won him that race. So obviously, I think a lot of drivers are going to be kind of studying the playbook of that 2 machine from last year and applying their own strategy later on today. But it'll be Cole, Stultz, Dearborn, Wise, Dollerton, and Osborne that will be joining the rest of the 36 charter drivers later on today in the main event race. N Amoedo, D Poteet, Brad Stover, and S Ozkan, great runs, but they will not be transferring in as they failed to finish inside of the top 6. In terms of someone that maybe could be a contender for Rookie of the Year with a good run here today, that would be Dawson Wise. Dawson Wise, 5th in points. A total of 15 points behind S Ozkan coming into this weekend. So keep an eye on him. Also, 18 points back was J Dearborn, 7th in the rookie points. So those are a couple of drivers that we could maybe see be up there contending with some J Osborne next week for the top of the Rookie of the Year honors. But we've shown you the full finish results from this one. Thank you all for tuning into this non-charter qualifying session. If you enjoyed this race, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to become part of the crew today. We'll see you guys later on today for 63 laps of racing. The Air Jordan 400 at Chicago Motor Speedway. Race number 18 of the 4th season of the Duracell Cup Series is going to be coming your way very shortly. You've been watching a production of NNSCRA, offline racing at its best. See you guys later on today.